The next thing that I'd like to be able to measure is the resistance of this resistor. To measure resistance, you need to really take the component, in this case the resistor, out of the breadboard, out of the circuit. You need to measure it when it's not connected. So I'm going to switch off my power and remove the resistor from the socket. Actually, I'll just plug it here onto a separate part of the breadboard so that it's not connected to anything. Then I'm going to use my cheaper multimeter, and as I said, I need to guess, or I need to anticipate what is the range of the value that I want to measure. And since I already know that this resistor is approximately 1 kilo ohm in size, I'm going to turn my dial to the 2000 ohm range. And let's see what we pick up. 2000 ohms means that it will comfortably cover the 1000 ohm that I expect for this resistor. And the instrument is saying that this is a 1003 ohm resistor, 1 kilo ohm resistor. With my Tenma multimeter, I need to move the probe, the red probe, back to the ohm socket and just turn the dial to ohms so that the instrument now measures resistance. So it doesn't really matter how I connect my probes to the resistor, since polarity is not important when I measure a resistance. So I'm just going to connect it like this. And the Tenma multimeter says that this is a 1 kilo ohm resistor as well. So both instruments didn't have any trouble with this measurement. I'll restore the circuit to its original condition. Now, the fourth type of measurement or probing that I want to do with my multimeter is to detect two parts of the circuit that are connected electrically to each other. We call that continuity testing. So with every multimeter has continuity testing, and the symbol on the dial that you look for is this one here. It looks like a Wi-Fi signal. It's right here. And on the Tenma multimeter, you can see that here as well. It looks like a Wi-Fi 90 degrees turned towards the right. So when you've got your multimeter set to continuity testing, then you can make sure that it works by touching the two probes together. And then noise is emitted when you do that. Continuity testing is basically just looking for a connection between two parts of a circuit that has very little resistance. So obviously there's no resistance between the two probes when I touch against each other. So that indicates to the instrument that this is a continuity detected. So in my little circuit here, there's not many parts of the circuit that are connected continuously to each other, but let's say from across the yellow wire I've got continuity. Across the two ends or the two pins of the LED there is no continuity, since there is resistance inside this device. Same thing with the resistor. There is no continuity between the two ends of the resistor. There's measurable resistance. But what about on, let's say, I'm going to disconnect power. And let's say, what about the breadboard power supply? Is there continuity between the plus pin on this side and the plus pin on the other side? Let's see. Yes, there is. So there is a continuity there. What about the minus pin? Again, yes, there is. And so on. I think you get the idea. I can do the same thing, of course, with my Tenma multimeter. And let's say across the yellow wire, okay, because this is a multifunction multimeter, once I set the dial to continuity, I also need to press the blue button to select the first blue function on the multimeter, which is the continuity, and you can see that that is confirmed on the screen using by displaying the continuity symbol. And now I've got continuity testing enabled. So across the yellow wire, yep, got continuity. Across the LED pins, there is no continuity. Across the plus pins of the breadboard power supply, yes. All right, so I think that explains those 4 basic functions of the multimeter. You need to be able to measure, again, voltage, amperage, resistance, and continuity. So any multimeter that you can get that can measure these values is a good first multimeter. If you can afford the slightly additional cost of an auto-ranging multimeter, then I recommend that you go for one of those, just to save you the hassle of having to guess what kind of value you are measuring. Auto-ranging multimeters also tend to be a little bit more accurate, so for small amperages you'll be able to get actual readings, unlike the case of my very cheap multimeter that was unable to measure the 3 milliamps current that was going through the LED. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to learn more, check out my Arduino Step-by-Step Getting Started and Arduino Step-by-Step Getting Serious courses on the Tech Explorations School. There, I help you develop basic and more advanced Arduino skills, including how to write your own programs, how to use all sorts of sensors and actuators, and how to create your own gadgets. You may also be interested in my project courses, where you get deep into the development of wheeled robots, remote-controlled cars, and drones. Please use the coupon code in the description below this video to get a YouTube exclusive discount to my courses. See you there!